Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We're talking all things real estate, from private lending to land wholesaling specifically and especially in ground up development. Today I want to break down a deal. It's my largest deal to date, that I completed within my first year wholesaling. I kind of want to come to you, kind of tell you the story of how the documents are supposed to go in, but also show you like I'm getting fucking deals done. All right. So in this video, I'm gonna show you the executed purchase and sale agreement, which you can kind of see on the screen, the executed assignment contract, the title commitment for this deal, the survey invoice for the deal, the actual survey for the property, and ultimately the settlement statement. And it's going to show you how much I made as an assignment fee on this specific transaction. And so hopefully you can kind of, just kind of let you know, like, hey, I'm telling you, showing you the documents that I go over in other videos. I'm using these same strategies. I'm using these documents, and hopefully that can kind of get you comfortable with looking at me as somebody that you can kind of lean on if you're trying to expand your business outside of wholesaling houses, or if you're looking to for some supplemental income and looking to start doing this. I just want to help. So first off, here's the executed purchase and sale agreement. This is the unimproved property contract. If you're going to be doing deals out here in Texas, no matter where you're at, you want to use TREC forms. That's Texas Real Estate Commission. You want to use TREC contracts always. Okay. Do not use generic contracts. And then also, I mean, that's pretty much it. So as you can see, I have the seller's name, my name, the block, lot, address, how much I purchased the property for. So this is the under contract price. So like when you tell somebody's like, how much you selling it for? I'm selling it for, it has to be over this amount, right? That's what you want. You want it over. So this is what I got it under contract for the seller for. Here's the title company, the title information. 800 was the escrow, so I just kind of use 1% of the under contract price. That's negotiable, okay? I did have to put down additional earnest money. I really rarely do this, but in this case I did. I forgot this deal was done last year. This was the last deal of last year, I believe I closed. So I forgot why, but you don't have to do this. And like it's I just industry standards, just like if you're a realtor, the standard is going to be like 6%, right? 3% to the buyer's agent, 3% to the listing agent. Everything's negotiable though, right? So y'all keep that in mind. Whatever you and the seller negotiate, that's what you can put in this agreement. Okay. So seller, we had seller pays for title policy. So like they clear their own title. And then down here, when you can see survey buyer's expense, right? So you see here, so the seller's paying for their own title, and then I'm covering the buyer's expense. Like the survey is being covered by the end buyer. I didn't pay for it, the end buyer did. So I mean, that's really just the most important part of the contract. Like here's the contract, and you can see the signatures is executed. So post this, like once you get this signed and it's signed by both parties, then you would send it to title. While it was at title, I went ahead and I found an end buyer for it. So here's my assignment contract. I have this blank, so you can see like the black, the dark, all that's kind of like spaced out. So I can send this to you blank. That way you have an assignment contract. Like I recommend this. This is perfect. It's not a lot of confusion in it at all. I also have a JV agreement, a blank JV agreement that I can send you, and you get all this stuff when you sign up for my land profit program, and we go over this stuff in depth. So as you can see, here's my name, and then here's the name of the builder, my end buyer. Here's the address. Where it's held at, the title company, and the signee agrees to pay all closing costs. So they're paying their own closing costs, right? That's what this means, not the seller's closing costs, but the buyer, whatever they have to pay out in additional funds, it's not coming out of my assignment fee. Um, I put their earnest money to be $1,000. And just to kind of give you a little background, you may see that the title company on here is different. Uh, I used basically original title company. We had some title issues with it. I didn't like how they were moving, and that's another thing too. I'll do another video on that. I didn't like how they were moving, so I went ahead and I switched to a title company that I closed the transaction with before, And I like the escrow officer. She's, very her communication as well. The escrow assistant's communication was on point. So I went ahead and switched to that. I just couldn't find the amendment. And like you don't have to get a brand new contract signed if you make a change like that. You would just get an amendment. They have it on the Trek website. You can just download the amendment and just put the address, the closing date, and then like it'll give you the section of like what's changing and just say title is switching from, in this case, I believe it was like fidelity to transact. So that's why you see transact title here. Um, so we have transact title, earnest money deposit, put it to 1,000, and then this is the amount that they're buying it. This is the amount that they're buying it from for. So you remember the amount that I got it under contract for. Let's go back to the contract. Oh, I exited out. But the amount that I got it under contract for was 80. Y'all saw that, right? It was $80,000. They're buying it for 100,000. So when I signed that, and I can scroll down here, show you the signatures. We signed, you get this to title. That means I have $20,000 to be made from this one deal. This one deal netted me $20,000. So after you do that, what happens next? You open title. Now you're waiting for this right here. This is the title commitment. Okay. When you get the title commitment and you have your schedule A, B, C, and D. So I would say the most important, like, I mean, it's good to know. So your schedule A is just going to pretty much go over who owns the deal. It'll have the address of the deal, how much. So here we go again, how much I have it under contract for, 80. So as you can see here, and then who owns the land, basically, right? So it's going to give you an overview of like, here's the legal description, here's the people that own it, fee simple, the interest covered in the land, so the type of ownership, and then who's the end buyer and how much are they buying it from. It's kind of going to be in Schedule A. As you can see, Schedule B is the exceptions. That's going to be like with any type of exceptions in the deal, because you have to understand when you do a transaction through a title company, they're insuring the transaction. That's why they're like, they want title to be clear. They want to order a survey to see if there's any encroachments or anything like that, because they're ultimately going to be on the line for facilitating the transaction. If an end buyer was to come sue, or somebody else down the line was to come sue you, like maybe the seller's cousin or something who owned it too and didn't give permission to sell, the title company would be liable. So like that's why you want to get a title commitment. And not all states require. So I think in Georgia, the state of Georgia, they just hire a lawyer to facilitate the transaction. So, but the most important thing is going to be your Schedule C. This right here. This is going to tell you if the title is clear, if there's taxes or liens against the property. It's going to tell you like if there's heirship affidavits that need to be signed. So I think in this deal, we did have some title issues. I believe this is the clear title. So this is the new one. So we had some things to get done. Like this deal took a while. But let me make sure. Let me just kind of give you. So let's go. Okay, so it says here, correct the airship affidavit. So airship affidavits, it kind of happens when, like, let's say the property's in an estate and there's multiple, like there's multiple people, maybe somebody's deceased who's in that estate, then you would need to complete an airship affidavit for those who are deceased, collect the death certificate. I think it's like you need to have the names, addresses, phone numbers, and I believe email of two disinterested parties who've known them for longer than 10 years or something like that. Once you have that, then you kind of send that back to title. But for this particular, like if there was liens on the property, if they owed taxes or anything like that, or any type of, like I said, liens, or easements, it'll be here in Schedule C. This Schedule C, to put it simple, is like, in order to get this deal closed, this, and this needs to get done. If nothing needs to get done, like the no liens, the owner owns the property by themselves. They have the right to sell it. Um, there's no taxes owed. This right here is clear. This will be clear, right? So uh after you go through and look at, okay, clear title, then this is going to be pretty much where the commitment for title insurance, your schedule D is like the title information. So how much you're going to pay title. So like $698 is what the title company is pretty much going to be making from this, right? So after you get your title commitment, okay, title's clear, we're ready to close. No, you're not ready to close, because when you're dealing with land, you have to order a survey. Like the survey is going to tell you the story. So here we go. Here's the survey. So here's the survey for this deal, particularly, and I'm telling you, this is how it goes in order. So I'm trying to like tell it to you like a story, so it's kind of easier for you to understand. But yeah, once you get your survey is going to tell you the square footage of the property. It's going to give you the setbacks on the property. It's going to tell you any type of easements. Uh, there was so like any type of road. So road like this ROW right here, that means right of way. So it's going to tell you everything that you need to know. Right. So this is a land deal. This clearly shows that there's a house on the property. This house was a tear down. So, like think about it. Every land deal doesn't have to be vacant land. If there's a home built in 1930, 1940, 1950, 1960, you more than likely you're probably going to tear that home. Anybody who buys that and wants to do something with it, they're probably going to tear it down and rebuild. So this is the situation for this particular property. So this was a tear down. So once you get this back, they confirm the square foot is what it is. Everything's good to go on the property. Then at that point you are ready to close. And just to show you, here's the invoice for the property, the invoice for the survey. So the invoice to get this survey done was $650, and it was split up into two payments. So you can see right here, first half, right? And then I have the second here right here. This is right here, second half. So you just split it up. And like I said, everything's negotiable. Like you can say, hey, look, can we pay 20, half up front and then the other half once it's done? So okay, cool. And this invoice pretty much was sent to me directly from the land surveying company, and they do civil engineering as well. So that's something cool. Like that's something if you want to start developing, maybe down the line, you want to start buying the land yourself and doing the site work, and selling it. You can sell it for more than what you bought it for. Hope you want to make some money on it, because these projects essentially, when you sell it to the builder, they're permit ready, right? You can go out, get the permits, get them approved, and say, hey, look, builder, if you're looking for a turnkey project to get started on, I have this. This is how much I'm selling it for. So that's why it's good to know civil engineers who can kind of help guide you through that process. So there's the invoice. So like I said, it was a total of $650 to get the survey paid for. And then finally, once the survey comes, you get clear to close, you get one of these, you get a settlement statement. Okay. So you can see how much, and the seller doesn't see the back end, right? So they don't see that I sold it for 100K. But we agreed to a price, right? So here's the sales price of 80,000, and then it shows you the option fee I had was $200. Um, I want to get down to, okay, here we go. So title charges here. So here you have the owner's title policy 698, settlement or closing 850. These are the closing costs. And then you had attorney, it was his tax cert, yeah, tax cert 189, the courier fee, because they did have somebody go out to the seller's house to sign documents and stuff, $180, and really to all their family members. And then the deed prep law firm 250 to record the electronic recording of the transaction, $42. Title to the state, $2, recording fee, 30. And then so for this particular deal, they had to break my 20,000 up into two checks. I got want to say they put it on one check. They put the money on one check, but on the settlement statement, they had to break it up because it was too high of a percentage for what I had it under contract for. So they had to like here's the assignment fee, and they had to change the name of it. But this all came on one check. So you can see Savion Miller. Here's 16 grand, here's 4 grand. And so like this is the 20,000. I got a $20,000 check at closing. You don't have to wait for it to come in the mail or anything. This being the largest one that I did, and mind you, this was last year. I started in January of last year, and I got my first deal like February 2nd. But this was the largest transaction that I did. And like this closed toward the end of the year last year. So I definitely framed the checkup. So it's one $20,000 check, but this is just kind of to walk you through like, and I see how I have all my documents still. I have these saved in a folder. You want to save all your deals, save everything so you can kind of go back through. And yeah, see here, like this is like I said, this was done toward the end of last year. This is the largest deal that I did. But if you're going to be following gurus or like following people online, you want to make sure that even if they haven't like gotten money from a transaction, they may be on the back end as an escrow officer. So they've seen these transactions. They know the same stuff that I do. So it's just a matter of like you want to be listening to people, especially with something like that has a lot of moving parts because real estate deals do have a lot of moving parts. It's rare that real estate deals just go according to plan. So sometimes you got to clear up title issues. Sometimes you have to renegotiate with the seller. You know, there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. Sometimes buyers want to back out. Sometimes sellers want to back out. Uh, I mean, it is what it is, right? You just got to figure out a way to get done. Ultimately, as a wholesaler, you're a problem solver. You're solving a problem. And once you kind of understand that, you know, it's just a matter of you getting on the phones, you calling, you following up, you staying on top of your pipeline. So, um, yeah, with that being said, I mean, I hope this helps you all kind of look, you know, kind of get more comfortable with me and my content and what I'm talking about. You can do these same deals, y'all. I'm telling you, like I said, I started in January of last year. So if this is something that interests you, and you want to get involved in this stuff, I have a land profit program. You got to spend some money to get the information. You want to go further, faster, spend the money, invest the time to learn this shit and go out and close you some deals. You know what I'm saying? So if you like the content, please do me a favor. Um, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Trying to provide content for you all that I believe you like. So let's close some deals in 2025.